90% of startups fail, many within just a few years. Now, I've spent over a decade helping entrepreneurs beat those odds, and in this video, I'm going to review the 7 essential steps to building a startup that thrives. Now, these steps are what I took to build my own startup, Forecastr, that brings in close to $3 million in annual reoccurring revenue. So without further ado, let's dive in. And if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you won't miss out on future insights. The first step is to identify a painful problem that is actually worth solving. Now, some of the best ideas come from simply paying attention to the world around you. So keep your eyes open and look for inefficiencies, frustrations, or any annoyances that you experience or see other people experience in their day-to-day lives. What are their goals and what's preventing them from achieving those goals? By developing a deep understanding of their needs and desires, you're going to be better equipped to create a solution that resonates with them. And these are often the seeds of really great startup ideas. So to identify these pain points, it helps to ask yourself questions like, what do people complain about? What tasks are unnecessary or complicated or time consuming? What products or services could be improved upon? By approaching everyday life with a curious and questioning mindset, you're going to be well on your way to uncovering a problem that's actually worth solving. Conducting market research can also be a valuable way to uncover pain points that might not be immediately obvious. And this could involve anything from analyzing industry trends to conducting surveys and interviews with potential customers. By digging deep into the data, you're going to be able to understand patterns and uncover opportunities for innovation. The best startups tackle real problems, and sometimes problems that people didn't even realize that they had. So when you're thinking about starting a company, ask yourself if the problem that you're solving is painful enough for customers to be willing to actually pay for the solution. The problem you identify and solve is what makes your startup unique. If it's not something that people are passionate about, or if it doesn't significantly improve their lives, then it's going to be a really tough sell. So dig deep and find a problem that's truly worth solving, one that will make your customers' lives actually better and leave them wondering how they ever lived without your solution. The second step is to validate your solution. Now, a great way to ensure that the problem that you're solving is truly painful enough is to validate your idea. And one of the most effective ways to validate your business idea is to engage in honest conversations with potential customers. If you've got an idea, then seek out individuals who might be struggling with the very problem that your startup is trying to solve and start asking them questions. Understand their pain points and see if your solution resonates with them. The more validation you have, the higher chance your startup will actually succeed. However, it's important to keep the conversation unbiased, so avoid mentioning your startup plans up front. Simply inquire about the problem, asking things like, when did you last encounter this issue? How severe was it? What would you be willing to pay for a solution? And did you find a solution? What would it look like? The goal here is to approach these conversations with genuine curiosity about solving their problems. And by doing this, you're going to gain a ton of different insights. After chatting with a bunch of people and having some meaningful conversations, then you can ask for their contact information, and then you can circle back once you develop a more concrete solution. So don't be afraid to ask for feedback from industry experts or even friends and family too. These insights can really help you spot flaws in your idea and identify ways to make it even better. Remember, the goal of the validation process is to ensure that you're creating a solution that people genuinely want and need. I'll give you an example. So before we started Forecastr, my co-founder Steven and I researched a bunch of different startups. We went into databases. We found a bunch of contact information of our target customers, which at the time and still are in large part startup founders. And we would send them emails and we would ask them about how they're tackling financial modeling, how they currently feel about their financial models, what pain points did they have. And we would send surveys just to get unbiased data. And whenever people would respond to those surveys, we would try to get on a call with them. And we wouldn't talk about our company Forecastr. We would just ask them, hey, how are you building your financial model? How do you feel about your financial model? Are you happy with it? How painful was it? And so on and so forth. So we'd have those conversations. We would get a bunch of data, and then we would ask, hey, at the very end, could we contact you once we get done building our solution? That's whenever we would circle back with them and get them on as customers. And a lot of them ended up becoming early customers of Forecastr. So if you're finding these steps helpful so far, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers. We'd love for you to help us get there. The third step is to do pre-sales. Now, this involves reaching out to potential customers, explaining the value of what you're building, and describing the vision of your product, even if it's still in the conceptual phase. Now, this could mean showing plans or giving verbal descriptions of what you're aiming to achieve along with an estimated timeline. Now, the great thing about pre-sales is that whenever you ask for customers to commit to paying for something that's not yet built, their reactions are going to reveal a lot. People who seemed really interested and supportive might act differently whenever it's time for them to actually make a financial commitment. Ultimately, this is the best form of validation. It's getting paying customers. If you don't have a product yet, pre-sales is a way to achieve this. And when you can say to investors, we already have X number of paying customers and we're generating revenue even before launching, that is super compelling and you're going to be able to hit the ground running. Pre-sales also offer a couple of other benefits, such as early revenue generation. So by securing payments before your product is officially launched, you're bringing in money that can help you fund further development. It also creates buzz and anticipation. So pre-sales can create excitement and awareness around your upcoming product, which can help you drive demand and set the stage for success in your launch. It's also great customer feedback. So engaging with early adopters during the pre-sale process is going to allow you to gather valuable insights and refine your offering to better meet their needs and preferences. These benefits can give your startup a solid foundation to build upon as you work towards building your vision into life. Oculus Rift began with a Kickstarter campaign that aimed to raise $250,000. They surpassed that goal within 2 hours and ended up raising over $2.4 million. Now, this initial funding allowed them to develop a prototype, which led to 75,000 orders for their development kit and further investments from venture capital firms. Eventually, their success caught the attention of Facebook, leading to their acquisition for $2 billion. The fourth step is to build an MVP, or minimum viable product. Now, your minimum viable product doesn't need to be flawless. It just needs to be good enough to test your concept and gather valuable feedback. In fact, I recommend not going all in before delivering a product. Instead, just deliver the bare minimum, enough to solve the problem that you're targeting with keeping the cost low. So don't spend too much time, resources, or cash on building the perfect product. You want to stay focused on building core features that solve the target customer's problem and then iterate and add features based off of what they say. So measure results, gather feedback, and adjust accordingly. According to Eric Ries, you want to build your MVP so that you can quickly adjust to meet your customers' needs through really fast iteration and learning. Keep in mind that the MVP is meant to validate your idea and collect feedback, not create a fully functional product from the get-go. It's a starting point for your development process, not the final destination. The key is to strike a balance with your MVP. You want to make it simple and cost-effective and valuable enough to attract those early adopters. Nailing this balance can be tricky, but it is vital for your startup success. The fifth step is to build your team and cultivate a strong culture. When building a strong startup team, there are 6 important things to consider. Number 1 is culture fit. A good cultural fit between a team member and the company ensures that they align with the company's values and that they can work well together. Now, this alignment is going to create harmony within the team. It leads to better collaboration and it helps maintain focus and that shared vision. Number 2 is a diverse skill set. Now, a team with a diverse skill set is going to be better equipped to tackle a wide range of challenges that come with building a startup. So don't be afraid to hire people who are smarter than you or have skills that you lack. It fosters creativity, it encourages new perspectives, and it prevents groupthink, which can stifle innovation. Number 3 is open communication. Encouraging open communication and participation is going to allow every team member to feel valued and understood. It also helps surface ideas or concerns that might otherwise go unaddressed, which can lead to better decision-making and overall team performance. Number 4 is transparency. So being transparent about your startup's goals and progress not only keeps everybody informed, but it also fosters a sense of ownership and accountability. So team members who feel invested in the success of the company are going to be way more likely to go the extra mile and stick with you through those inevitable ups and downs. Number 5 is you want to celebrate wins. So recognizing and celebrating accomplishments, no matter how small, can do wonders for team morale. It shows that you value their hard work, which can boost motivation, productivity, and overall job satisfaction. Plus, who doesn't love a good celebration? Number 6 is work-life balance. So startups can be intense, but don't forget that your team members have lives outside of work too. So encouraging a healthy work-life balance can reduce stress, it's going to prevent burnout, it's going to help your team be more productive. It's also important to remember that what matters most isn't necessarily everybody's technical know-how, but how well you can all work together. Teamwork, cohesion, and cultural fit. These are non-negotiables whenever you're building a startup dream team. Remember, you're entering a high-stress, high-stakes environment. You need a team that can weather any storm. The 6th step is to deliver on your promise. This is all about following through on your promise and understanding how your customer interacts with your solution. At Forecastr, after delivering the financial model, we'll dig deep with the customers, asking all kinds of questions to make sure that we're really solving their problems the best that we possibly can. This is hands down the best way to do customer discovery. Once you've given them what you think they need, you'll get the real insights on what's working and what isn't. They paid for your solution, so they won't hold back, and that's exactly what you want. Their feedback, both positive and negative, is pure gold. This is the good stuff that's going to help you shape your product and learn learn from your actual customers. If you stick to this process, you're going to save a ton of cash on software development. You're going to be generating revenue from day one, and when it's finally time to invest in development, you'll know exactly what you need to build based off of your customers' real-world experiences. The seventh and optional step is to secure funding. I've uploaded a ton of videos about venture capital for beginners, getting ready for VC funding, valuation, more of which I'll link in the description, but I'll touch on the two things that are important for early stage startups. The first is, what main things do investors look for in early stage startups before they invest? A mantra often quoted by Techstars when evaluating your startup is team, 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 idea, market, team. This really emphasizes the importance of team. Most great investors bet on jockeys, so they're going to look closely at your team, their qualifications, how well you work together, and they'll be asking, is this the type of team that can deliver tremendous value and the outcomes that we're looking for? If you need to focus on anything when pitching your startup to investors, really double down on your team. The second thing to keep in mind when you're pitching your startup to investors is that it's essential to focus on crafting a compelling narrative or telling a good story. Many founders mistakenly approach fundraising as a transactional process. They think that they have to present their numbers in the most favorable light to impress investors with all of the data. However, at its core, fundraising is a negotiation built upon a strong story. Again, the story you tell should focus on your team's unique qualifications, the vision of success, and the passion that drives you. It should be a deeply personal and an emotionally resonant account that captures the essence of your mission and the lives of all of those involved. Of course, this narrative has to be supported by solid metrics and data, but ultimately it's the strength of your story that will engage investors and persuade them to believe in and invest in your startup. And now that you know these 7 steps to building a great startup that thrives, click on this video to learn the best businesses to start